Hello, my cookies, and welcome. Welcome to Russell Cooks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I have some popcorn shrimp that I think we might convert over into some po' boys, which are delicious. Po' boys are essentially just sub rolls filled with fried shrimp and then some other goodies, of course. Now that we know what we're doing, let's gather our ingredients. I'm gonna try and separate this. For the spice seasoning, we're gonna put on the shrimp. We're gonna put a little bit in the batter. I wanna do some batter fried popcorn shrimp. A lot of times you can bread them. I wanna do batter. Let's do batter, why not? Batter up. It's gonna be sort of like a little Creole, but I'm gonna take a little leniency with that name. I'm gonna use some Aleppo pepper. I love Aleppo pepper. If you don't have it, cayenne is fine here. Paprika, ground coriander, ground cinnamon, and some celery salt. These are gonna come together and make our delicious seasoning. For the batter, for the shrimp, you are gonna need some baking powder, some cornstarch, some fizzy water. If you don't have this, don't worry, you can use flat water, but effervescence is gonna help keep the batter light. Clam juice, flour. We're obviously gonna put a little bit of the seasoning in it. For the sauce, you're gonna need some mayonnaise, some Worcestershire, some prepared horseradish, and some hot sauce. This is the only hot sauce I could find in my place. I've got bottles and bottles of it, so I'm gonna be using that. And of course, we're gonna put some of the mixture in there as well. You're also gonna need some sub rolls, nothing fancy. I got some romaine lettuce hearts. I'm gonna shred this up. Shredded lettuce is fantastic. Don't forget some pickles. I might put some banana peppers on mine. You're also going to need a whole bunch of fry oil, whether it's canola, whatever your favorite. So you're gonna need a couple quarts of that. You are also going to need a whole bunch of peeled, deveined shrimp. I've got about a pound here. I think a pound will do. 20 to 25 is probably as big as you want them. Don't get jumbo. It's too big. Don't get them too small either. They'll overcook before the batter's solidified. All right, now that we know what we're doing, we've gathered our ingredients. Let's get started. Let's get started on the seasoning first. All right, let's start with a tablespoon of coriander. Next up, let's do a couple tablespoons of the celery salt here. So 2 tablespoons. And now we do 2 tablespoons of paprika. Just regular paprika, not smoky. For cinnamon, we are doing half a teaspoon. And finally, Aleppo pepper here, kind of a little heaping teaspoon here of Aleppo. Just mix it around. I understand it's more than we're going to use, but it's nice to have. You can do so much with this. Put it on chicken, put it on pork. It's kind of like a Creole seasoning here. All right, it's time for our sauce now. I'm gonna do 2/3 cup mayo. Let's do a half teaspoon of our seasoning. Teaspoon of hot sauce. Let's do about a tablespoon of Worcestershire. I'm fine if it's a little less. For the horseradish, let's do 2 tablespoons here. All right, let's go ahead and mix this up. Prefer a little whisk. Choose a bigger bowl. Don't do what Russell does. Choose the smallest bowl that I have in my kitchen. Time to make our batter. For our batter, we're gonna start with 1.5 cups of flour. AP flour is preferred. Next up is cornstarch. This is classic in batters. So you want a 1/2 cup of cornstarch in here. Let's add a couple teaspoons of our spice mixture. Next up, we got baking powder. Let's do a teaspoon. This is also gonna try and keep it light. Let's go ahead and whisk this around. And now I have an 8-ounce bottle of clam juice, and then I want to add about 4 more ounces of water. So the clam juice is going to kind of carry over that shrimp flavor. And then the effervescence in this is going to help as well. No lumps in this batter, all right? This is not pancakes. Looking good. Good consistency here. Clingy. Before we start seasoning up the shrimp, get our oil starting to heat up. All right, you're gonna wanna get it up to about 350. You're gonna want probably 2 quarts. It depends on the size of your pan. But remember, as oil heats, it expands. So if you have like 2 inches of oil and you heat it up, it might end up being 2.5 inches. I'm heating this up. High heat, medium high heat, whatever you want. Just get it hot. All right, I have patted my shrimp dry. Now before I add them, I am going to add, let's start with a tablespoon into my 1 pound of shrimp. Tablespoon of the seasoning. Toss it around. Here we go. We're looking good. I'm gonna get all this into my batter and mix it up. While we're waiting, I am going to clean some lettuce, shred it up. I think my oil's hot. Let's do it. I'm just gonna hand lower in 1 or 2 at a time. I just wanna see how they go. These will kind of be testers. All right, I think we're good. So let's start loading them up. You wanna do these in batches, maybe a quarter of your shrimp at a time. You're gonna wanna let those fry for about 2 minutes. Keep them separated. Use your spider. Stir them around, flip them, keep them separated, okay? Here we go, look at that. I should have let a little bit extra drip off. That's okay, it's the first batch. No Michelin stars today. Remember, there's gonna be a little carryover cooking. Don't overcook them. These are looking good. They've browned up very nicely. Let's go ahead and get these out. I have a baking sheet lined with paper towel and a wire rack. And I'm just gonna scoop these out, get them on there. Let the oil come back up to temperature, and then add the rest. Working in a restaurant, one of the most difficult things, using a fryer, using a batter, was when I would drop it in. If it was big, sometimes it would sink right to the bottom and get stuck on the bottom of the fryer. So sometimes we'd take it, we'd kind of dip it in the oil, swing it back and forth a little bit, and then let it go. Because I'm using a Hexclad, it's non-stick. I'm not gonna have that issue. I can use less oil to fry these. Let's go. Shrimpies, one at a time. Man, I did have a little bit extra batter. You probably could have done 1.5 pounds with this amount of batter. Keep them separated. Oh, these look fantastic. I am jazzed. Let's wash this lettuce. We're good. Let's get them out. Now, typically with fried things, when you pull them out of the fryer, you salt them. Fried things need a lot of salt. But I want to taste these first. Remember, we did put that salt on the shrimp itself. Shrimp themselves are pretty salty. Get your sub rolls. Get them in half. Put them in your toaster oven. Toast them up on this side. You want them nice and toasty. We are ready to plate this thing. All right, let's test one of these. Perfectly cooked. That batter is something. Doesn't need a little salt. I think the seasoning is just right. I would have liked a little bit more spice. I don't think I put enough Aleppo in. If you do a teaspoon of cayenne instead of Aleppo, you're gonna be right there. If you use Aleppo, maybe up it. Probably could have done a little bit of pepper in there too. Oh well, live and learn. We're gonna spread this remoulade. Let me give this remoulade a little taste here. Tangy, good. Spread a little bit of this love over here. I'm gonna make 2 because I'm hungry. Next up, lettuce. A nice little bed of lettuce there. Pickles. Dill pickles. I like Grillos. I think they got great pickles. All right, now it's time. I'm gonna overfill it. I'm gonna put 5 on. All right, here we go. It just comes together. Crunchy pickles, that creamy sauce, crunchy fried shrimp, the soft tender bread, the crunchy lettuce. You know what I will say? I want a little bit more horseradish in that sauce. It's not as prevalent as I liked it. So that was some Creole seasoned popcorn shrimp that we turned into some delicious po' boys. If you like what you saw, don't forget, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. Best way to support this channel for free is follow me on Twitch, subscribe to me on YouTube. If you like some of the stuff I use, I have a whole bunch of affiliate links down below. I do get a little bit of kickback, but only stuff I use or I like is linked there. I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic day. Hope to see you next time. Take care.